What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We get you on the grind and improve your mind. So in this video, we're going to talk about law number 27 of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Let's go. Alright guys, law number 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. People have an overwhelming desire to believe in something. Become the focal point of such desire by offering them a cause, a new faith to follow. Keep your words vague but full of promise. Emphasize enthusiasm over rationality and clear thinking. Give your new disciples rituals to perform. Ask them to make sacrifices on your behalf. In the absence of organized religion and grand causes, your new belief system will bring you untold power. So, I think, let's just start off with, I believe some of this law plays into a certain emotionalism, which we have today. I actually want to bring up that the Orange Man, I don't even know if we can say his name on YouTube anymore, but I guess Trump, fine, I said it, fine, It's like saying Voldemort in Harry Potter, Trump, right? It's literally how it is these days on media platforms. So, he basically created a cult-like following. The news is always on his ass, always articles written about him. The dude lives rent-free in so many people's minds. And every time he does something, every time he says something, everybody freaks out. Joe Rogan, too. There's a cult around Joe Rogan, I think, as well, where people take him so seriously and they want to shit-talk anything he says. Literally, I think, they don't even try that hard. Or maybe they do. Who knows? People take these guys so seriously for no reason. They base, news articles base themselves around them for attention. And, like, every time Trump says something, everyone goes nuts. Like, they get mad. It's like, oh, like, every time he would, back in the day, every time he would make a tweet, it would go viral. It's like, oh, he said this, look at that, oh my God. And everybody would freak out. That's like a perfect example of how, and it sparked an emotionalism as well, because people would find a way to hate on anything. Like, if Trump could tweet, hi, oh, I hate you so much, you're destroying the country, get out, die. Like, literally, it would be crazy how a certain emotionalism can get people going. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and it definitely goes into, as well, for this law with politics as well, because especially nowadays in the United States, there's very much a cult-like following on both sides of the spectrum, whether it is the Democratic side or the Republican side. There are those, when they say, you know, the far left or the far right, those are the cult-like following of people that are within that political party and the political spectrum, and those people are pretty much in that thing of emotionalism against the other side. And there's a few different steps and aspects to the cult-like followings for people who are trying to build them. And a lot of these people definitely fall into those categories and fall into that different thing. Now, some of those specific things are the steps, pretty much, is the first one is to keep it vague. So, like, the whole situation that you're in, you don't want to give a lot of people too much information, because you want to keep it as vague as possible.
Remember that emotionalism. You want to keep people on their toes. You want to keep people wondering. That's how you get everything to progress in the cult.
And it's also based upon another law, you know, to not give too much information. The next one is to emphasize on visual. People want to see things. If they hear about it, it doesn't give them that satisfaction. They want to see specific things that you're talking about. And so, you know, I know that, like, a lot of the news channels will try to put a lot of visuals of, like, certain things. They'll even try to, like what they did with Joe Rogan. We had that video of Joe Rogan with CNN where they made him look like he was sick when he had that Instagram video where he was perfectly fine, but they altered it to make him look sick. That is pretty much like the cult following for those viewers that watch CNN. To be on CNN's side when clearly it was all fucked up. Then the next one is borrow rules from religious organizations. So a lot of religions, they pretty much get you to believe in, you know, whatever religion that they're in, and pretty much get you to follow blindly on certain things. They even give money to them, and they give you all these specific false hopes and all these different things depending upon the religion. It doesn't really matter in the scheme of any specific ones, but a lot of cult followings will do the same thing, and they will try to give you these false hopes and all these different things to try to get money from you without trying to make it look like they need the money. Don't be desperate if you're trying to create some sort of following.
Yeah, even like, you know, you can create a cult out of anything really as well. I just want to point out, even like the keto diet, right, that we do, there's even a keto cult. Like, people like, oh, ketogenic diet is the only way you could live, and it's so many, I mean, it's good for you, yeah, don't get me wrong, but, you know, to create a cult over it and become obsessed over it and create this whole, oh, well, if you're not on keto, and if you eat sweet potatoes and you're against me. If you eat rice and you're against me, I hate you. Like, you don't want to go too far with certain things. Like, some people take keto way too seriously, and it does become like a cult. What we try to do is, we do keto, like, / carnivore, and we implement that, but it's more of a tool. It's not that we have to base our entire, life around this one thing. It's more of a tool that we utilize, and it's good for certain people, but not good for everyone, and it's good to really experiment with yourself. So that's how you differ from a cult, between just, using it as a tool, So we try to make the best of all worlds. And, you have to understand the difference between those things.
Yeah, and then the last part of the steps is to create a us versus them dynamic. And in politics, you see that all the time.
As we're going through right now, Russia with Ukraine, at the time of the recording of this video.
Yeah, and even when there wasn't any fighting.
Or no masks, or vaccine, no vaccine, like it's all...
Even when there was no war or anything like that, it was always right versus left. It was, orange man versus old man. It was just a whole big mess. And
it still is.
And yeah, and it will continue to be like that because these followings, these people that are in power, will want to create an us versus them dynamic when all of us are all the same. We are all more powerful than they are if we all stick together. But because of specific cult followings, they split us up and segregate us. And that's pretty much what will happen moving forward as long as we stay where we are.
Yeah, guys, you got to be careful of where you fall in line and who you follow and how much emphasis you put into it. This law is basically about awareness, about where you stand. You have to be careful where you get yourself into, who you follow, who you look up to. Just be mindful of everything that you consume, because it could create a monster, or it can create a blessing. So you got to be careful with how much you consume at what point. So it's more about, the awareness of the situation and awareness of where you are in life and where you should go. You don't want to fall into any traps now. You got to be careful, Be careful of what side you take, and remember to always keep an open mind and make sure you utilize critical thinking at all times, and always be mindful of everything you see going on around you, because you never know who's pulling the strings, who's trying to manipulate you. It's everywhere and it's everything. You need to stay on the grind, and you need to really know who you are in order to see past the bullshit. You have to know who you are, what you stand for, and go with that. Trust your instincts. It will serve you well.
Yeah, so that is Law 27 of Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, guys.
If you guys have any comments of this law or anything, any cult that you may be part of, or let us know in the comments below. Hit the like button on the video. Let YouTube know that we're not full of crap. And subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and we'll see you in the next video.